an honor and a privilege to be here speaking with everybody in this room. I am a mother. I have 3 daughters and 4 grandchildren. So, thank you. I appreciate that. And I've been in leadership the majority of my life, in some shape or form, if it's in a university or if it's for the state of Tennessee executive leadership. And I've experienced some things in the early 90s as being a mother, which is way different than being a mother in this era. Not saying that it's easier, but it's different. So my journey from the 90s, when I gave birth to my first daughter, who is now 31, bless her heart, and now she's experiencing the same thing, but she can work virtually, so, but the struggle of balancing roles in the late 90s really changed the landscape for women today, right? Because we were in those leadership positions and they didn't allow, you got to be at work. 8 o'clock. They didn't care if your child had to get on the bus. They didn't care if the baby was sick. Okay, how long is it going to take you to take the baby to the doctor and then come back? Especially, I have a daughter that passed away and she's dyslexic. So we had to take her to a form of therapy to help her with her dyslexia. So I had to go through a lot of changes and a lot of struggles with my job, which I still have, thankfully, with the state of Tennessee to get her through those appointments. The working environment predominantly were office-centric. There was no such thing as remote. I mean, they did speak about virtual work and remote work, but it was such a small percentage of people that had that blessing to be able to be at home with their children and earn a living. It was quite a blessing at that time. So we had no flexibility. There was no flexibility when it came to working from home. So we, as mothers, we had to make working arrangements. That means we had to often choose between attending important business meetings or being present for a child's special occasion. Sometimes, depending on your tenure at your work, you didn't have the leave that you needed to be able to be out on these special occasions. So you really had to choose. Your child didn't understand that, but you had to choose. So you make sure that you were there for the very important milestones in your child's life. So because of that, there was a lot of judgment, there was a lot of criticism on both sides of this fence called work, especially in a leadership position. Your job needed you to be there to lead. They needed you to be there to make sure that you were back up whoever was there, to keep the office organized. And your children and your family, they needed you there to be a mom, right? They needed you there to fix their food because dad can't cook. Yes. They were like, Dad's cooking? Absolutely not. This is not working. And now, you go through all that, and now with this evolution of technology that has just burst into our lives, we can work remotely, we can talk to people and make connections, not ever even seeing somebody's face. So, that evolution fast forward us to today, which has created digital tools and an amazing platform for a woman in any stage in life to not only work, but to be successful in both worlds. I hear a lot of young women say, oh, I'm career focused. I don't want to have any children, right? You reach a certain age and then you're like, I want to have kids. So they leave their career focused world and they want to rear their children. But what they don't understand is, as a mother that lives in this country, the United States of America, you have the opportunity to have the best of both worlds. You just need to learn how to, and especially now, learn how to organize your day to be able to do it. When I was raising my children, it was a little more difficult because everything you had to physically be there. But now, I would think that it would be a lot easier. Now, my children are grown and they have children of their own, and it may be a different view from a different age, but from me that I am in my 50s, I see so much opportunity for women now, young mothers, to move up into corporate America or become whatever they want to become using that flexibility that comes with remote work. One of the significant changes that has been, the advent of remote work is actually the ability to have that work-life balance, to be able to work from home, get off of a conference call, go downstairs for about 5 minutes, make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, a little sippy cup of whatever you need, get your kids situated in the corner of your home office, and go right back to work and not skip a beat. I think that is amazing. I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story when my kids were young and a story when my kids now are old. My daughter is in Alaska. But before she went to Alaska, she came to see us. So I have a 3-year-old granddaughter, a 4-year-old granddaughter, an 11-year-old grandson, and a 7-year-old grandson. So I had all 4 kids in the house. So I called and I told my boss, I'm going to work from home this week. I thought, this is amazing. My kids are here. They're going to be here for 2 weeks. I'm going to work from home 1 week. I was able to get everything done, spend time with my grandchildren, attend every meeting that I had to attend, and not skip a beat. It was amazing. So I tell my daughters all the time, I'm like, you guys are going to rule the world. You just need to know how to teach yourselves organized. It's all an organization. Those digital tools, I've listed what I use. So the Google Workplace. I use Teams. I use the Microsoft Word, where you can share a document and edit the document as your employee is writing, because I do a lot of policies, a lot of standard operating procedures. So we connect the documents, and I'm able to look at the document as my employee is writing it. And while I'm doing that, I can have my 3-year-old granddaughter in my lap. So it's amazing versus when I was in my, I'm going to say 30s. I had my first child when I was 20 years old. I was pregnant at 19. And I remember having to pay for daycare because I had to be to work. If I didn't have to pay for daycare, really depended on the season. If I didn't have to pay for daycare, I had to pay somebody to make sure my baby got on the bus and they were safe. I didn't feel comfortable leaving them there on the corner waiting for the bus to get there, so I had to pay for somebody to do that. If I worked over, 90% of the time I did work over, and I worked over the after-school care time, I had to pay somebody to go and get my child and take them home. Or hopefully if my husband was off, we were able to go pick them up. 90% of the time, a good $600 to $800 of my income went to daycare or paying somebody to run them back and forth for me. The other thing that is amazing right now with the technology and being a mother is those health and wellness apps. You are able to talk to a doctor virtually and resolve an issue that you may have with your child. Get a prescription done. It's amazing. Get assistance. I was telling my new friends here at this table, I have a grandson that's autistic, and he has his therapist that he talks to virtually. Now, he don't know any other way. He's always did virtual, but it's amazing how attentive he can be when she's on the phone or on the screen. So as a result, like I was telling you guys, today, standing here with all of these tools that we can use to be better employees, better businesswomen, better leaders, and again, better mothers, I personally feel empowered. as a mother, as a grandmother, for all the women, my granddaughters and my daughters and my family, to be successful, however they want them to be. Technology has not only made a change that allows us to be more effective leaders. It's taken that negative connotation. We're not going to promote her because she may get pregnant. She's in that era of her life, right? So she may be out for leave or whatever. We may need to have her doing something. So we're going to go ahead and not promote her. That was my era, and I'm sure some of y'all were in that era with me, where you lost our opportunities because that you were a woman and you were in a specific stage of life, and they did not feel that it was a good time to promote you into a specific. And you're not going to say that was a horrible, terrible. That was the way things were back then. But now we have the opportunity to work from anywhere with the technology, and we can become anybody we want. So I'm talking about leadership in women and all that, but we really need to give accolades to the organizations that have allowed this concept to be adopted into their normal practices. It's allowing those incredible advances in technology to live, to alter policies, to change viewpoints, to alter the culture within an organization, I believe is amazing. We always talk about how horrible and how bad things are at work, but we really don't realize everything that's put into thought for us to ensure that we have a work-life balance here in 2024. Now, I'm not talking about all organizations, but there are quite a few that do a really good job, and I'm very honored to be a part of an organization that does that. So last thing I want to say is to all the mothers in leadership roles, past, present, and future, I salute your resilience, because you've got to be made of some stern stuff to work and raise your children and maintain a household and deal with your husband if you have one, because that's actually the fourth child that I have is my husband. Your dedication, your unwavering commitment to your families and careers, your efforts are not just acknowledged, they're deeply appreciated and respected. With continued support of technology and, of course, a progressive workplace, changes in policies, we can continue to lead with strength, grace, and compassion. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak with you today.